We live in a world that's filled with anxiety, but here's the key. The more you develop your relationship with the Most High, the more you develop your relationship with God, the less you live in fear. You don't have those same fears because you know what you have? You have peace of mind. Many people simply suffer from lack of peace of mind. Many people suffer from lack of peace of mind. There are people who are dealing with issues from their childhood, man. There are people who are dealing with issues from school. There are people who got bullied in school and they still going through it. They're out here acting bad and acting tough and always angry. You know why? Because they're waiting for a bully to test them so they can make up for all of those times they let the bully them. People are dealing with a whole bunch of psychological issues in this world, brothers. A lot of psychological issues. Sometimes people don't even know they're dealing with these issues. Imagine being horrified of a particular outcome that you can't imagine a better, even a different outcome. You're so petrified and terrified of this particular outcome that you can't even imagine that won't be the outcome. You can't even imagine that the outcome is going to be good because you are dead set on worrying and stressing yourself out about that horrible outcome, which probably never comes to anyone you've ever known in your life. A lot of times we see things on social media and television, and we get caught up in, oh, what if that's me? Or what if that's my son? What if that's my wife? What if that's my mama? What if that? We start worrying about all of these things, even though we know we have never heard of that happening until we saw it on social media and TV. That's why I'll demand that my wife is not on social media. She can, a woman can be wherever she wants to be, but I would demand that the woman that I put in the position of wife, she cannot be on social media at all. I don't care who she knows. She can't be trying to be on Facebook, link up with a classmate. She can't be trying to be on IG today. She can't even have no business online, as a matter of fact. She cannot be online because social media is the most confusing place in the world for someone who is not absolutely grounded in the Word of God. If you're not absolutely grounded, social media will drive you crazy. It really will. And we know this. Now, here's another thing. When you're consumed with anxiety, all other mental capacity is null and void. Like once anxiety enters the fray, you can't even be in any other mental state. You can only be anxious. You can't be anxious and happy. You can't be anxious and glad. You can't be anxious and mad. You can't be anxious and sad. You can't be anxious. You are just anxious. That's how strong anxiety is. It eliminates your ability to be anything but anxious. Anything. So what do, King Ray Ray? Do I turn to substances? No. That's not going to do anything. You're going to be inebriated, and then when you're done, you're going to be anxious still. Do I give up? Of course you don't give up. If you give up, then you're going to give up. You're still going to be anxious. You can't get away from anxiety by giving up. Anxiety is almost giving up already. Anxiety is what you turn to when you don't want to face reality. We become anxious intentionally. Anxiety isn't something that just attacks you like people have anxiety attacks. You don't have an anxiety attack. You face something, you don't want to face it, so you go over here and you just worry. And here's the crazy thing. 9 times out of 10, whatever you're anxious about has nothing to do with the real issue. You see what I'm saying? It has nothing to do with the real issue. You can sit over here and be anxious about, about anything. But the real problem is that you over here, man, you don't think your woman or your man, you don't think your spouse loves you no more. You don't think your girl loves you. You don't think your man loves you. You are on the highway about to have a road rage with somebody, and it's because you think your spouse may be creeping around on you. The thing you're anxious about, the way we express anxiety is really to take our frustrations out on other people besides the people or situations that are causing the issue in the first place. But what should I do? Should I just take that this too shall pass, we shall overcome mindset? No, because it's not going to pass. It don't have to pass you. You got to pass it. You ever play Monopoly and seen the board say, okay, you just stay right there. Go pass you. No, you got to go past go to collect your $200 in Monopoly. You got to go past go. I don't care what else you do on that board. If you don't go past go, you're not going to collect your $200. That's just the way this goes. So you have to understand that anxiety most times is simply a distraction from, excuse me. Anxiety is just simply a distraction from a bigger issue. You understand what I'm saying? And it's just a bigger issue that you don't want to face. Because those issues can change the way you function in everyday life. But facing those issues is just you breaking yourself down, building yourself up. Anxiety is you staying in a state of limbo. You're not breaking down, you're not building up, you're just staying in a state of limbo with anxiety, man. Anxiety is the cousin of stress, close cousin of stress. Almost look like siblings. Let's say unwanted pregnancy, weight gain, missed opportunities. That's a big one. Missed opportunities are cause a lot of people anxiety. But you got to look and see, well, why did I miss the opportunity? Because I'm not punctual? Because I talk myself out of it? Because that's something over there I really don't want to do, but I don't want to disappoint the people around me who believe that I should be doing that thing? Unwanted pregnancy, what is that? If it happened, you wanted it. You may not want it afterwards, but see, you can't decide you don't want something after you do it. You can't decide you don't want to go to prison after you willingly commit a crime. Weight gain. Okay. Don't be anxious about the stuff they put in the food. Be anxious about the fact. Look at the reality and say that you eat more sugar than you eat anything else. Feelings of failure. Are you anxious about your feelings of failure? No, you're anxious about your effort. You're anxious about the fact that you keep putting other people before you. That you keep sacrificing yourself for the wellness of other people. That you can't let go of the fact that the way you were raised was wrong. That's one thing your parents missed out on. They told you to be willing to give up yourself and sacrifice yourself for the people around you. That don't make sense. And now you're living a life where you're suffering the consequences of taking care of these people and living around these people, having these people leech from you, and you can't get nothing from nobody. And your life seems like it's over. So what do? You start stressing out about property taxes. And you start stressing out about, there's a creek in the back of the house. What if a snake get in the house? You start stressing out about a whole bunch of crazy things because you can't accept the reality of your life. Woe is me is sometimes easier than knowing me. A lot of these things that cause anxiety are things you know about yourself, but you want to ignore. You want to ignore these things about yourself. Many people need counseling, but they want to ignore that about themselves. Why? I don't want people to think I lost my mind. I don't want people to think I'm off my rocker. Newsflash. You think you're off your rocker right now. We can't be so worried about what people say. We can't be so worried about what people think that we fail to do what's best for us. It makes no sense to do that. You all you got, man. If you don't do it for yourself, nobody else is going to do it. You got to do it. Trust in the God of Israel with all your heart and all your might, all your soul. Everything that you have should be given to the Most High. You ain't gotten in this to give nobody else. So when I talk about emotional attachment, you ain't got no emotional attachment to give nobody else. You ain't got no pieces of your heart to give nobody else because you worship God. You honor God with your whole heart, your whole being. So all you got to give anybody else is the righteousness that comes from that. There is no anxiety in having a relationship with God, man. When you think about it, childhood emotional scars are the greatest issue we avoid with anxiety. Because everyone has one or two, or has had one or two. And I'm going to be honest with you. The only way to get over those issues is with the Most High, man. I hate to be the bearer of bad news to people who believe you can do something else to get over that. But the Most High is the only way to get over those things. Those issues are going to hunt you. Those issues are going to be with you forever. If you don't wrap your mind around the concept that you have to develop a relationship with the Most High, man. Everything you need is in that word. Everything you need is in that word. Guys ask me, where should I start? Pick a spot. Of course, I always send guys Proverbs because Proverbs is the best bang for the buck. Proverbs is nothing but righteous gain. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's when Solomon was righteous before he got caught up in having all of those wives and singing the song of Solomon. And when Ecclesiastes, and you can kind of see the shift with Ecclesiastes. He kind of sounds a tad bit more confused, anxious even in Ecclesiastes. He still says some good stuff, but Ecclesiastes and Proverbs are not the same. You could tell in Proverbs, he was on it. He was on it in Proverbs. Ecclesiastes, he kind of started wondering and guessing and doubting and stressing and doing all of that. And then by the time he got the Song of Solomon, man, he was gone. The wives had him at that point. If you look at it closely, you can see the regression of King Solomon from being king to the book of Proverbs to Ecclesiastes to the Song of Solomon. You can see the regression of the man from a godly man to a worldly man whose life revolved around his wives. You can see it. So let me tell y'all something, man. I was talking to this chick, man, and she's not even dark skin, just brown skin. You know, she'd be called dark before she'd be called light, but she's really not. And beautiful girl, man. And she still has psychological issues from having to fight the fair-skinned girls at school, all the way through school. Because, you know, the fair-skinned girls had this aura about them, and they dare the boys like a dark-skinned girl. They dare a dark-skinned girl to be considered as pretty as they are. And she still has those psychological scars from now, man. To hear her talk about it, you can hear the pain. You can hear the frustration. But that reflects in anxiety in other areas. I'm talking about if you want to see someone who's anxious all the time about everything, then you see a woman that's dealing with that. Even that bullied example. See someone who's around here acting like they are tough. They ready to go at it with anyone because they have these issues with bullies. And so they had these issues with bullies when they were younger. And so now as an adult, they just ready for anybody to do anything. And they always talking about somebody's testing them. Somebody trying to play me, man. They're trying to play me weak. They're trying to do this to me. They're trying to do that to me, man. Blah, blah, blah. No. Now it's a deflection from that time when you let people play you weak, when you were weak, when you didn't stand up for yourself. Now that you want to stand up for yourself and you will stand up for yourself, the bullies ain't coming around. So you want to use anxiety to create the reason to battle someone now, hoping that will replace the fact that you have some issues from the past.